Beyond every illusion lies a deeper truth. Welcome to Beyond the Illusion with the R-TisT-O. Welcome to episode 6. Thank you for listening. This is Secrets Hidden in Plain Sight. One of the strangest things I learned about magic is that sometimes the secret isn't really hidden. In fact, sometimes people are staring directly at it and still don't see it. That's what makes illusion so fascinating. Not because magicians make people blind, but because the human mind naturally focuses on what it believes is important. If an illusionist points with one hand, most people follow that movement automatically. If the magician tells a story, the illusionist tells a story, the audience becomes emotionally invested in the story instead of the method. And while all of that is happening, the secret quietly exists in plain sight. I've seen this happen many times while performing. People later swear they watched every second carefully, but somehow the most important moment still escaped them. I remember one illusion in particular that taught me how easily people can miss the real secret. It involved a small box with a cube inside. Each side of the cube had a different color. So altogether there were 6 possible choices. I would hand the box to a spectator and ask them to secretly choose a color. Then I'll tell them to place that color face up inside that box and close it. At that point, the illusion seemed impossible. Then I would say something like, okay, I have a couple options. I can place the box behind my back, or hold it against my forehead and somehow reveal the color you choose without even looking inside the box. Almost every single time, people chooses the forehead because it's funny. But what they never realized was that the important moment had already happened. Earlier, when I casually held the box behind my back for just a second, that was the moment the secret took place. But the time the box reached my forehead, the illusion was already complete. But because the audience believed they were making the important decision, their attention moved completely away from the real method. Then I would reveal the exact color they had chosen and slowly open the box to prove it. The reactions were always the same: shock, confusion, and of course, suspicions. People inspected the box carefully, looking for holes, mirrors, hidden openings, even asked around if maybe an spectator was part of the trick. But they never found anything because the real secret was never hidden inside the box. It was hidden inside the way their attention had been guided. And honestly, that's one of the most powerful lessons illusion teaches. Seeing something is not always the same as understanding it. The one thing I noticed after performing for people over the years is that spectators really barely remember a trick exactly the way it happened. The mind automatically rebuilds the experience afterward. It fills in gaps, removes details, sometimes even changes the memory completely. And honestly, that's one of the reasons illusion can feel so powerful, because people are not only reacting to what they saw, they're reacting to what their mind believes must have happened. I've had people confidently explain methods that were completely wrong. Invisible strings, hidden magnets, secret helpers, and so on and so on. You've heard them all. Sometimes spectators become so focused on finding a complicated explanation that they completely overlook the simplest possibility. And magicians, illusionists understand this very well. If the audience expects the secret to be complicated, the mind often ignores simple solutions automatically. That's why some of the strongest illusions are actually very simple, because people expect something much more impossible than what really happened. But one of the strongest examples of this happened when an old coin illusion called Scotch and soda. I'm sure you've heard of it. If you're not, look into it, buy it. The effect itself was simple. I would show a Mexican coin and a $50. Then I'd place both coins directly into the spectator's hand and tell them to hold it. Well, first of all, I would put one of their thumb over the coin and then tell them to pinch it and hold it into a fist. Before before they would close their hand, I would jokingly say, "Hold tight! Don't let the Mexican coin melt away." Most people would laugh because obviously coins don't melt. Then I would tell them to close their hand tightly and hold on their thumb tight over the coin. And a few seconds later, I'd ask, "You didn't let go, right?" And almost every time they answered confidently and no, I'm holding it tightly. Then I would say, "Okay, open your hand because I don't believe you." That's when everything changed. The Mexican had completely vanished, and its place was a quarter, obviously a different size, smaller size than a Mexican coin. Now they were staring at a $50 and a quarter, even though moments earlier they were certain they were holding a Mexican coin. And what was fascinating were the reaction afterwards. People would say things like, "The coin melted. You must have a hole in your hand. That's impossible." Meanwhile, the missing coin was usually sitting quietly in my pocket, or usually I would wear a watch and it's under my watch. Um, or I would, hid it somewhere else. That's what makes illusion so interesting. The audience isn't only trying to explain what happened, they're trying to explain how reality itself suddenly stopped making sense. And maybe that's the strange things about human perception. Sometimes the truth is visible the entire time, but the mind refuses to accept how simple it really is. The more you study illusions, magic, read books, watch videos, um, watch magicians, the more you will realize something strange. People often imagine magic secrets as something deeply hidden, a complicated machine, a secret compartment, some impossible explanation. But many times, the real secret is surprisingly close. Sometimes it's happening directly in front of the audience, and they still don't see it. Not because they're unintelligent, but because the mind naturally filters reality. People focus on what feels important, what feels impossible, what feels emotional. And while the mind is busy chasing mystery, simple details quietly disappear into the background. That's why spectators often remember illusions differently afterwards, because the mind reconstructs the experience based on feeling, not perfect observations. Looking back now, I realize magic gave me more than illusions. It introduced me to storytelling, because every great magic trick is it's a story. In order for you to do a magic trick, you want to build a story, you want to share a story, and then you show your illusion. There's a beginning, a mystery, tension, and finally a moment impossible to explain. And over time, the fascination with mystery and imagination so slowly expanded into something else, writing. What started with magic tricks eventually led me into creating stories, ideas, and books. And today I've written more than 10 books. Uh, when I really think about it, that journey all began because of wonder. One possible moment, one illusion, one experience powerful enough to change the direction of a person's life. And maybe um, that's the true power of illusions, not simply fooling people, but inspiring imaginations strong enough to create something lasting. And honestly, maybe that lesson goes beyond illusion, beyond magic. Sometimes in life, the answers we search for are much closer than we think, but we become distracted, focused on somewhere else, looking for something more complicated. And maybe that's why illusions, magic, fascinates us so deeply, because it quietly reminds us how easily the human mind can overlook what was there all along. This is Beyond the Illusion with the R-TisT-O. And remember, long after the illusion fades, what remains is the legacy we leave behind. Create your legacy.